Hi, my name is Aaron, this is my show Re-Education, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how we would reward people in anarchism. So, let's get into it. So in an anarchist society, we believe in money abolition, but that always tends to lead to the question, how would we reward people if there isn't any money? What incentive would you have to work hard or work at all? And what about the people who have better, more skilled jobs? What are we to do with them? This is the wrong question to ask. It insinuates that some people are special boys who need a bigger ice cream cone for cleaning their room. It feels a bit childlike and wholly self-serving, but it's a common enough question, so let's talk about it. In our current society, we're tricked into believing that some work is more important than others, and that some jobs are practically useless. Think of your right-wing uncle shitting on McDonald's employees, for example, saying that those are kids' jobs and entry-level positions and nobody really needs them, while of course still filling his gaping maw with fried potato strips and cheeseburgers at lunch hour. Let me ask you this, Cletus. If fast food is a kid's job, who exactly works at McDonald's when the kids are going to school? Hypocrisy aside, we do need people to make us food quickly. We still need to eat, and it never seems like we have very much time to make that food ourselves. What with the whole grind until you die mentality? Thanks a lot, capitalism. Am I right? I'm being serious here. Thanks, capitalism, for killing us young and starving us to death while doing it. But the truth is that most jobs in society are actually very important, and the vast majority of them are needed for society to function. Though that isn't true for the jobs that do nothing more than uphold capitalist hegemony, like CEOs, politicians, the police, stock traders. They call them traders for a reason. Funny how Uncle Cletus never happens to mention those. Thanks again, capitalism, and Tucker Carlson, and really the entire capitalist propaganda machine. But let's face it, the real reason that we believe this is because deep down we've been conditioned to think that if we are rewarded for hard work, that one day we'll get that reward. If we just work hard enough, dagnabbit. Dagnabbit? I am 100 years old. But since the highest paying jobs rarely coincide with hard work, believing that lie helps keep us in place, busting our asses for very little gain, while the ruling class gets to sit back and profit off of our labor. But as the old saying goes, if hard work made you rich, every mule would be a millionaire. But getting back to my main point, the common argument is that people like doctors are better than janitors, so they should receive a special reward. But this negates the fact that I brought up earlier that we need both for society to run. And also jobs like doctors, lawyers, and CEOs are virtually unattainable by poor people. And that most doctors have an incredibly tough job saving lives, and would be better off if the industry was more inclusive to poor people who might be great doctors, if they weren't held back by financial barriers just to get into the schooling, or of course prevented from practicing because of racist immigration policies. But like I said, we need both doctors and janitors, and grocery store workers, childcare providers, chefs, construction workers, and almost every other job in our society. And the reward for that is having a functioning society. A doctor's a busy guy, and sometimes he won't even get to eat if it wasn't for him being able to rely on the McDonald's employee. Just like the McDonald's employee has to rely on the doctor to give him depression medication because of the crippling, inhumane conditions that a lot of these people are forced to work under in capitalism. But the reality is that you shouldn't need a special attaboy or a pay raise just to help benefit society. Benefiting society is a benefit all in its own. In an anarchist society, and yes, of course, we were eventually going to get there, if you work hard, then you would be benefiting everybody across the board, not just yourself, but everyone, directly improving the standard of living of everyone in your entire community. But because we live in capitalism, we're convinced to believe that profit motive is the only motivating factor in everybody's lives, when really that just isn't and never has been the case. Mountains of people, from indie video game developers to medical scientists, have contributed countless hours developing and creating groundbreaking work for free. Entire fields like art, music, or childcare are done out of love and enjoyment, often working long, grueling hours for completely free. And isn't it interesting that jobs that have been predominantly performed by women throughout history are the ones that are considered not worth paying? Like in the case of childcare, we're literally raising the next generation of human beings, but somehow that's an unpaid position. Fascinating how the jobs that directly benefit those who are in power and control are the ones that somehow have been deemed worthy of being paid more for. Of course, all of the work that non-white people have created over the years that white people found a way to make money off of and then skim a bunch of that off the top. Yeah, we'll pay a lot of money for that stuff. You know, making sure that we're, of course, still upholding the whole capitalism lottery thing where one person out of a group gets to succeed, but we won't actually help the entire group because it might give some of those people the false impression that real systemic change can actually happen. And we can't have that because if we created real systemic change, then those that are in power making all of the money right now would lose that power. It's so nice to make a video for YouTube again where I can kind of just go off on a rant, but I am getting way off topic with all of these segues. Jumping back to what I was saying, it's a lie that we need money to reward hard work. And we've been completely brainwashed to forget about intrinsic rewards. You know, how we've done things for thousands of years before money even existed. Like admiration, self-fulfillment, interest, joy. Or, you know, that it actually just feels nice to go out and help people. Something that we've been completely convinced to forget about. And it begs the question, do we really want people that save lives, like doctors, to only be doing that because they get a special gift? Because if so, it kinda sounds like we're choosing the wrong people to do that job. Of course, that isn't to say that people like doctors shouldn't be respected and appreciated. And if anyone does something special or life-changing in our society, it doesn't mean that we wouldn't be able to show them gratitude. But reducing it to a monetary incentive is insulting at best, and at worst keeps the majority of society struggling just so a select few can get to ride on a private jet. If an individual wants to repay someone like a good doctor, they can still do that. They can do something special specifically for them. Like if they're a rock and roll star, then they could give the doctor front row seats at their rock and roll concert. Or you can give them a freshly baked pie, or first access to an experimental new video game console that hasn't been released yet. I'm laughing because so much of this is so unbelievably myopic. We want to exist in a world where people do things for the betterment of society. And the more that people do better, the better society becomes. Personal enrichment and individual gain isn't something that we usually think about, at least anarchists don't usually think about, as a useful or appropriate reward for working hard or doing something amazing. Obviously, in capitalist society, where money is directly related to your survival, giving people more of that gives them more ability to survive, and in a lot of cases, a lot more freedom. But in a world without money, all of this is just complete nonsense. But of course, there are a lot of people out there that are gonna say, oh, well, if I don't get my special reward, then I won't do that job. To which I would respond, good, don't. We have lots of other people that would be willing to do it. And if we didn't have the financial barriers that we do now preventing most people from getting the jobs that they want and the jobs that they would actually be good at and enjoy, then we wouldn't have to worry about a select few only having the special skills needed to do that special job. Lots of people can be trained to do lots of jobs. And even worse, right now under capitalism, lots of people who would be amazing doctors or artists or musicians or whatever are unable to get those jobs because they can't afford it. They can't afford the schooling to become a doctor, and of course they can't afford to just pursue their passions in art or music. They don't call them starving artists for nothing. But what a tragedy for humanity, and what would set us back more than preventing the people that want to do these jobs, and people that would be overwhelmingly skilled at doing those jobs, from just having those jobs. That's the situation we're in right now. Once we've moved past money, want, and personal individual greed, of course, that is created by the capitalist system itself, and into a society that favors mutual happiness and collective well-being, we would then be able to finally focus on personal fulfillment in a deep, fundamental way, instead of just buying more toys to keep up with the Joneses. Anyway, that's my show. My name is Aaron. Thank you very much for sticking with us. And by the way, this is actually a long-form version of a very short video that I posted on TikTok. So if you have TikTok, check me out there. The Re-Education channel just hit 1.2 million views in the last month, and it's been really fun. So if you miss my ugly mug on YouTube, you can always check me out pretty much daily on TikTok. So yeah, go down there, check it out, follow me, and post a comment and engage in all of that. Engage. And you can also check out what the Re-Education program is up to on Twitter and Instagram. All of the links will be in the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and keep evolving. Yes, it takes a long time to become a doctor, but have you ever had to stick your hand in literally raw sewage and puke to clean out a clog? Not many people would just willingly do that. I'm pretty sure most of the doctors wouldn't choose to do that. So really, how can we say that these are equivalent?
Where the fuck did you go with that?
I don't know what I'm doing. You know why I bring this up? It's because I've had to literally put my hand, when I worked as a janitor or, a maintenance person, into raw sewage and puke to unclog the drain. And that's not a fun job. Nobody really wants to do that.